When I first started training, I thought I was doing everything right. I was training hard, I was eating clean, and I was super consistent too. But even after a year that had went by, my body just still wasn't changing much. Now, it took me a long time to learn from my mistakes and finally learn how to build muscle properly. But the mistakes that I made are the same mistakes that I see people in the gym doing today. So in this video, I'm gonna break down 5 of the biggest mistakes that I see beginners making and how you can actually fix them so you can finally make some progress with your body. And I know these things work because I've worked with over 100 guys now working on these exact same mistakes to help them progress with their bodies and get amazing results. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. So the first tip that I want to talk about is that more is better. And this is a mistake because when I first started training, I used to think that if my body wasn't sore after doing a workout or training, then I wasn't doing enough in the gym. And this is wrong because what I've learned is soreness is just an indicator of fatigue. So when you're training in the gym and when you do get that soreness, it can often feel like, oh yeah, this is my muscles working, this is me making progress. And to a degree, yes, but being sore is not the be all and end all. And if you're not sore after your workouts, it doesn't mean that the workout was not effective. You can train, and I train now, the way I train now is I'll hardly get sore after my workouts, but I know for a fact they're still very effective workouts. And that is because soreness is just an indicator of fatigue rather than it is a measurement of how effective your workout was, okay? So what you need to learn is that more doesn't always equal better, okay? And instead of this, what I want you to think about is think about doing more quality instead. And by quality, what I mean is pushing harder on the exercise that you're doing, you know, nailing down your technique on them and getting stronger over time, because these things are what's gonna drive that progression and drive to help you build muscle, rather than chasing soreness and maybe going into your workout, not feeling sore and doing a little bit more each and every time, just so you can chase that feeling of fatigue and that feeling of soreness, okay? These things alone, they're gonna give you more than doing more itself, if that makes sense. So focus on that quality. Don't worry if you're not getting sore, and think about the things that are actually measurable to your progress and that are going to improve and make you better over time, like trying to get stronger in the gym, nailing down your technique, and pushing hard on the exercises that you do. All right, number 2 is eat whatever you want because you work out, okay? Now this is I wish this was true, but a lot of beginners, and I used to think that just because they train, and just because I trained and just because I was burning lots of calories training, means that I can just eat whatever I want, whenever I want, and basically just out-train my diet, okay? But you can't do this, unfortunately. It doesn't work like that, okay? And a good example to give is that it's much easier to out-eat a bad diet, okay? It might take an hour to burn 600 calories on the treadmill, while at the same time, it only takes 30 seconds to eat 600 calories worth of pizza, okay? So out-training a bad diet is really, really, really difficult. And most people, unless you are, a super high metabolism, a guy with a super high metabolism and you need so many calories to just gain an ounce of weight, or you're a professional athlete, gymnast, something like that, Ironman triathlon runner, that you just need food and food and food all the time, okay? For most of us, me or you, we work busy lives, we've got busy jobs, we just train in the gym, we want to look and feel better. We're not going to be able to out-train a bad diet, okay? And another thing to note here and to mention is that you don't burn anywhere near as many calories when you're lifting as you think, okay? You might think I'm burning 500-600 calories if your watch says that, but most of the time it's wrong, it's inaccurate. You probably burn around 100 to 200 calories from your weightlifting sessions in the gym. Cardio is a bit different, but weight training, don't burn anywhere near as much as you want. The reason why your body's not changing when you're doing this is because your nutrition is going to be the reason why your body actually changes, why your body composition will change, and why you will lose body fat or you will build muscle over time. So we need to get the nutrition spot on in a way. If you're eating more calories than you're burning, or you're eating the same amount of calories that you're burning on average, then your body's not going to change. You're still going to have the same body composition, if that makes sense. Okay, so we need to, if we want that body to change over time, we really do still need to focus on nutrition and the foods that we're eating on top of the training that you're doing too, okay? Number 3 is following extreme diets and quitting too soon, all right? Now, one thing that I used to look for And one thing that I know a lot of people do is when they first start out in the gym, they'll follow some crazy strict diet that they found on the internet or that they've been advised to follow, such as like cutting all your carbs out or doing a fast, 24-hour fast or intermittent fasting and detoxes. And the mistake here is that it's not that these diets don't work, because they can work because they create that calorie deficit. But what the mistake is that it's often too extreme and it doesn't fit your life. Okay. Now, when I was training, I was super active. I would try and was one point where I'd cut my carbs, and I was playing football at the time too. And what I found is it just didn't fit my life at all, because I needed them carbs for energy when I was playing football and when I was training. Okay. So it's important that you find a way, and you find that way of eating that is going to actually fit with your life. And it's something that you can see yourself sticking to for a long period of time. Now, this isn't always your fault, because there's a lot of bullshit information on the internet, a lot of out there information with very opinionated people, and a lot of the time it's a load of rubbish. And I understand why people get so confused with all this information online too. But when it comes to whether it's fat loss, muscle gain, and whether it comes to training, eating in a way to support your goals, it's so important to find something that is going to work around your life. Okay, so I want you to try and pick the diet that you can see yourself sticking to for a long period of time. If you jump on and you start fasting and you absolutely hate it, but you're doing it, I just want to lose this weight quickly, then most likely you're going to end up quitting after a couple of weeks, because your willpower runs out and it gets too hard. So want to focus on picking a diet that you can see yourself sticking to, or sticking to a variation of, for the long run. Okay. Number 4 is following advice from people with the body that you want. All right. Now, here I'm talking about, fitness influencers, people you see online, or, you find an image or a video or somebody on Instagram of the perfect physique that you want and post content or something. And just because it works for them doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Okay. And the second thing is that just because somebody has a great body doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Right? So what I mean by this is you don't know their situation and you don't know their lifestyle, right? A lot of these people, a lot of these fitness influencers online, they could have things. I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but it does happen. They could be on steroids. They could be on steroids. They could be editing the pictures. And a lot of them, what is true is they have great genetics for it. Doesn't take away anything from the hard work, dedication that they have, but they have great genetics to have a great body, okay? Now, another thing is that they have all the time in the world. An influencer's job is to look great all the time. They can post pictures on social media, maybe they can give fitness advice, etc., etc. Their job is to look good. They have all the time in the world to dedicate and commit to solely looking good and improving on their body. Whereas people like you might have a super busy job, demanding job, where you're working 40 hours a week. You don't have time to work out all the time, to train in the gym all the time, to cook every meal fresh from home every time. And you also might have a social life. There's birthdays, there's events, there's work meetings, things like that come up that just don't make your circumstances necessarily ideal. So it's a different scenario. You can't expect to do the same things that this guy has, who has all the time in the world, when you just don't have that time and you don't have that lifestyle yourself. Okay. Another thing is a lot of people on the internet preach lies for attention and for views on social media. There's a lot of outlandish information. There's a lot of polarizing information out there, which will either get people on board with them or it will get people to hate them. So you'll see a lot more of this out now, is people making outlandish claims, bold claims about what to do with the nutrition, what to do with the training, when even sometimes themselves, they know that they're lying and they're just trying to get more attention for their social media because it helps pay them money. Okay. So there are some factors that you need to consider when you're listening to advice from these kinds of people. Okay. But it always comes back to that one thing, that you need to find a way of training and a way of eating that is going to work around your life, okay? You need to find one that you're going to see yourself sticking with long term. You need to find one that works around your schedule and works around your life. And you need one that's matched to your current ability and experiences in the gym, okay? So examples for this would be, for the first one, picking a program that you can see yourself sticking with long term. some of these influencers will preach, oh, you need to train 6-7 times a week. You need to do push-pull legs kind of split, to be doing an hour of cardio every single day. When, let's be honest, like, you know, you might not be able to see yourself sticking with that long term. So why would you want to follow that for a period of time? It's obviously going to fall off the wagon later down the line, aren't you? The second one, having a schedule that works, or having a training plan that works around your schedule and your work life. All right. Again, if you're training 7 days a week, if you're needing to do 2 hours of cardio a day, yet you're working 40-50 hour week for a demanding, stressful job, you're not going to be able to stick with that program, are you? But this is what a lot of these influencers don't realize, because they have a completely different lifestyle and their job is to get fit and their job is to be in shape. So they don't necessarily have the best advice for normal people with more relatively normal lives, all right? And the last thing is having a program that's matched to your current ability and experience in the gym. And this is important because you'll see a lot of, you know, these exercises and stop doing this exercise, do this instead. And then the variation is them like with a band attached to the cable, attached to a dumbbell, you know, or something crazy like that. And it's like, you might just be a beginner in the gym. You don't want to be doing these complex exercises that more advanced people do, or the optimal crew do when it comes to training. So we need to kind of look at that and think, okay, this isn't me. I just need something that's going to work around my life instead. Because the way that you build muscle is always going to be the same. It's progressive overload over time. It's creating that mechanical tension. It's getting stronger and lifting heavier over time with your training in the gym. So we need to pick movements, we need to pick exercises that work around your experience, they work around your current ability in the gym, and it's something that you can progress with over time yourself, okay? Not necessarily advice from a bodybuilder with a six-pack who you would like to be in the shape that they're in. Yeah? Number 5 is expecting results too quickly. You know, most guys, a lot of guys, they do expect to get results way faster than they actually will get them. Okay, and this can put a lot of people off, because what they do is they'll start hitting the gym for a few weeks and they'll expect, or they'll think that they should be making a lot more progress than they have done. And what that'll do is that'll end up putting them off, and then they end up kind of quitting on the diet. So they quit with the training because they think it's not working anymore. When in reality, a few weeks hitting the gym and eating well isn't going to change your body that much. It often takes a lot longer than you think, okay? And, you know, one thing to note is that nothing worth having comes easy, all right? So if you think it's going to take a few weeks, I want you to change that mindset. It's going to take a lot longer than you think, all right? Instead of thinking about weeks, I'm going to do this for 6 weeks, I'm going to do this for 8 weeks, think about months and years. Think about 6 months. Think about a year down the line. That's a more realistic time that you want to be committing to your goals for, or committing to a program for, in order to see change and see results, okay? And when you do think about this, and when you do think about committing for the long term, you'll know exactly what to expect with your results over that time, and you'll end up sticking to it for longer because you know it's going to take a bit longer, so you'll be able to stick to it for longer, rather than thinking that it's only going to take 6 weeks. When it gets to the 6-week mark, you've not made much progress, and then you kind of think, oh, well, I'm not making any progress, I'm just going to stop, I'm just going to quit. Yeah? So number 5, expecting results way too quickly, the 5th and final one. It's been a bit of a ramble, this one, hasn't it? But anyways, so they are my 5 fitness mistakes that I see beginners making in the gym a lot of the time. I made these mistakes too, and I made this video so that you can learn from these mistakes and you can make faster progress with your training and with your nutrition and with the progress to your body. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to watch more, I'm going to leave another video up at the top which goes through my best way to build muscle in the gym, how to structure your reps, how to structure your sets, and how to train in a very effective way in the gym in order for you to build muscle. I'm going to leave that right up here at the top if you want to watch it, but subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.